Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over the newest chapter to Dead by Daylight, which is Silent Hill. Yes, it has finally been announced. And this is bringing us a new killer, the Executioner, who is better known as Pyramid Head, and the new survivor is Cheryl Mason. Now before getting into everything, I just want to say that everything here is still in the public test build, and therefore subject to change. Now let's take a look at Pyramid Head's power, add-ons, and perks. So the Executioner's power is called Rights of Judgment. While holding down the killer power button, the Executioner will cast Rights of Judgment, leaving behind a trail of barbed wire and blood. Letting go of the power button will cancel this ability. Now the ability can be channeled for a maximum of 5 seconds. Once used up, it slowly recharges, but you can reactivate the ability anytime before the timer has fully reset. This bloody trail remains on the floor for about 80 seconds, and the Executioner can see the aura of his trails in white. If a survivor steps on the trail, they will trigger the Killer Instinct effect, represented by this entity symbol, heartbeat sound, and red aura. The survivor will also be afflicted with torment. Now, if a survivor crouch walks over this trail, they will not become tormented or have their location revealed. So that is the little counterplay to the trails. Survivors who have torment on them will have a barbed wire effect on their feet, and also this special effect on their screen. Additionally, they will have a barbed wire circle around their profile in the bottom left corner. Now, it is important to know that survivors who are in the dying state cannot have torment applied to them. So do not worry about crawling over the trails if you are in the dying state. Now, if a survivor is afflicted by torment, they can be sent to a Cage of Atonement once they are put into the dying state. As the Executioner, to send a survivor to a Cage of Atonement, you must press the secondary action button. Then the survivor will be sent to a cage somewhere on the map, and they will have a white aura to show their location to both the killer and survivors. This cage acts as a hook does, and the survivor must be saved before their bleed out bar hits 0. If the survivor's bleed out bar hits the halfway mark, they are put into the struggle phase. But unlike the hook, survivors must hit skill checks in order to stay alive and struggle. Failure of a skill check means death. But don't worry, the skill checks are larger than normal, so you are sure to hit it. Survivors who are sent to the cage for the second time must also complete skill checks to stay alive. Just think of the cages as hooks. When the survivor is saved from the cage, torment is removed. Now, if the survivor goes into the dying state with torment, and it is their death hook, the Executioner can perform his final judgment. Press the secondary action button while standing over the survivor to kill them instantly. Remember, the survivor must be afflicted by torment to be sent to a cage or be killed on the spot. Now, the final part of the Executioner's power is his specialized attack, called Punishment of the Damned. Now, this ability can only be used while channeling Rights of Judgment. To activate, hold down the power button and then press the attack button at the same time. The Executioner will then launch an attack directly in front of him in a straight line that injures any survivors in its path. This attack can go through walls, windows, and pallets. And it can injure multiple survivors at the same time in just one blow, similar to the Leatherface's chainsaw. However, this attack does not apply torment. So if the survivor is not tormented already, you cannot send them to the cage or kill them. And that sums up the Executioner's power. Now let's take a look at his add-ons. Alright, so first we have the Iridescent Seal of Metatron. When sending a survivor to a Cage of Atonement, the auras of all survivors suffering from torment are revealed for 6 seconds. Obsidian Goblet. The Executioner gains the Undetectable status effect when standing on a Rights of Judgment trail. Crimson Ceremony Book. Injured survivors affected by torment suffer from the hemorrhage status effect. Lost Memories Book. Survivors affected by Rites of Judgment suffer from the Oblivious status effect for 15 seconds. Rust-Colored Egg. Survivors affected by Rites of Judgment suffer from the Blindness status effect for 60 seconds. Scarlet Egg. Considerably increases the duration of Killer Instinct when triggered by Rites of Judgment. Burning Man Painting. Considerably increases the reach of Punishment of the Damned. Mannequin Foot. Considerably increases the duration Rites of Judgment trails remain in the environment. Misty Day. Remains of Judgment. Moderately increases the duration of Killer Instinct when triggered by Rites of Judgment. Tablet of the Oppressor. Considerably increases the total amount of time that Rites of Judgment can be performed. Shout out to the typo between increases and the. Valtiel Sect Photograph. Considerably increases the recharge rate of Rites of Judgment. Cinderella Music Box. Moderately increases the duration Rites of Judgment trails remain in the environment. Forgotten Videotape. Moderately increases the recharge rate of Rites of Judgment. Leopard Print Fabric. Slightly increases the duration of Killer Instinct when triggered by Rites of Judgment. Spearhead. Slightly increases the total amount of time that Rites of Judgment can be performed. That's weird. Can performed? But that's what they meant. Wexdoll. Moderately increases the reach of Punishment of the Damned. Blackstrap. Slightly increases the reach of Punishment of the Damned. Copper Ring. Slightly increases the total amount of time that Rites of Judgment can be performed. Dead Butterfly. Slightly increases the recharge rate of Rites of Judgment. And the Lead Ring. Slightly increases the duration Rites of Judgment trails remain in the environment. Now let's take a look at his 3 unique perks, which are Forced Penance, Trail of Torment, and Deathbound. Forced Penance says survivors who take a protection hit are inflicted with the broken status effect for 20, 25, or 30 seconds. The broken status effect just means you cannot be healed to full while it is on you. If you want to know more about this status effect, check out my What is Broken video that explains everything about it here. Now for protection hits, well, a protection hit is any time a survivor takes a hit for another survivor to protect them. Some examples include the killer chasing an injured survivor, but then hitting a healthy survivor who gets in their way. Or a survivor taking a hit while unhooking a survivor. There are many more ways to get protection hits than just those 2, but those are just the examples I'm giving you now. Next is Trial of Torment, which says, after kicking a generator, you become undetectable for 15 seconds. During this time, the generator's yellow aura is revealed to survivors. This effect can only trigger once every 120, 100, or 80 seconds. While undetectable is active, your terror radius and red stain is suppressed. And Deathbound, which says when a survivor heals another survivor for 1 health state at least 32 meters away from the killer, the survivor performing the healing action will scream, revealing their location and activating Deathbound for the next 45 seconds. During that time, the survivor will suffer from the Oblivious status effect when further than 16, 12, or 8 meters away from the healed survivor. What the Oblivious status effect does is prevent that survivor from hearing the killer's terror radius or being affected by terror radius based perks. One thing I want to quickly clarify about this perk is that the survivor will only scream when they heal the injured survivor to full health. So if the survivor that is healing the injured one stops healing them for some reason, then they will not scream. It is only when you complete the healing action. And that sums things up for Pyramid Head. Now let's take a look at the new survivor, Cheryl Mason, and her 3 unique perks: Soul Guard, Blood Pact, and Repressed Alliance. Soul Guard says, get the Endurance status effect for 4, 6, or 8 seconds after being healed or having recovered from the dying state. While cursed by a hex, you can fully recover from the dying state. Now, this perk's description is a little misleading. It only grants you the Endurance status effect from being healed from the dying state or recovering from the dying state to the injured state. It does not give you the Endurance status effect just from being healed from injured to healthy. So you must be in the dying state and be healed up for the Endurance status effect to be applied. If you don't know what the Endurance status effect is, what it does is just absorb a 1 killer attack, and this can be a melee attack or a killer power attack, to prevent you from being injured and going back into the dying state. Next is Blood Pact. When you or the Obsession are injured, you both see each other's auras. After healing the Obsession or being healed by the Obsession, you both gain the Haste status effect for 4, 6, or 8 seconds. Reduces the odds of being the Obsession. If you are the Obsession, the perk deactivates. The interesting thing about this perk is that it grants you the Haste status effect whenever you get off the survivor you're healing. So you can actually repeatedly get the Haste status effect by tap healing each other. Just a cool tidbit I found out in my testing. Now the final perk we have is Repressed Alliance, which says, Repressed Alliance activates after repairing generators for a total of 80, 70, or 60 seconds. When repairing a generator, while the perk is active, press the Active Ability button to call upon the entity to block the generator for 30 seconds. The perk will deactivate. Affected generators will be revealed by a white aura to all survivors. And there you have it, the Silent Hill chapter. Now, this chapter is also bringing a new map called Midwich Elementary School, which I have a map tour video you can check out here. Remember, everything in this video is subject to change, but tell me what you think about the new chapter. Are you excited or disappointed? Do you like the new perks being introduced? Do you like Pyramid Head's power? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and share it with others who are curious about the Silent Hill chapter. Make sure you subscribe to have access to more Dead by Daylight content, and thank you very much for watching. As always, good luck out there in the fog, and see ya next time.